Good morning. Welcome to our midday briefing. Thank you for your patience. Before starting with your questions, let me just welcome a group of visitors who are joining us here today in the press room. And I understand you are a group of journalists from the United Kingdom. Very warm welcome to all of you, and we hope you enjoy your time with us here today. And that's it for the short announcements, and we can now take your questions. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thomas Mann-Nielsen at Euractiv. I have a question for Olaf regarding the announcement yesterday of these 301 investigations that US Trade Representative Ambassador Greer announced. My question is, is your understanding that this investigation will only lead to tariffs on industrial products and not agricultural products? Thanks.
Thanks for your question, Tom. Here's what I can say. The European Commission has been notified by the United States Trade Representative of the decision to initiate Section 301 investigations concerning structural excess capacity in manufacturing sectors, including an investigation into the policies and practices of the EU and its member states. The European Union shares the United States' concern regarding structural overcapacity in the global economy. However, the sources of such overcapacity are well identified, and they do not lie in Europe. The EU is a market-driven economy with open markets and transparent policies. As such, the EU does not consider itself a contributor to structural excess capacity, but rather a partner in addressing global distortions. These challenges are best addressed through cooperation among partners, as is clearly reflected in the EU-US joint statement. The Commission will carefully review the details of the investigation, and we remain ready to engage constructively with the US. The Commission will continue to ensure that the interests of the European Union are fully protected.
Thank you. You have a follow-up?
Yes, sorry. So just regarding, this 301 investigation is specifically into industrial, looks into industrial alleged overcapacities. But is it your understanding that this 301 investigation is just sort of part of the puzzle regarding how the Turnberry deal will eventually be reimposed? And have you got any understanding about how the US would go about imposing tariffs on EU industrial exports? EU agricultural exports. Thank you.
Thank you for your follow-up, Tom. Your question should be directed to the US administration. From the European Union perspective, we can only reiterate our expectation that the US fully honour its commitments reflected in the EU-US joint statement.
Thank you. Razia, on this topic, go ahead.
Thank you. Razia Akoch, AFP News Agency. You say the question should be directed to the US administration. Fair. But we're not asking for the US in terms of the details. I'm asking in terms of whether the European Union feels that the deal is going to go through. It's been a bit quiet, and we were waiting for them to see what legal basis they could form or whatever. So what I'm asking you is, does the European Commission feel that it has the information and commitments, therefore the promises, that the deal will be applied? And so that's why we're hurtling towards the Parliament approving the deal and the EU putting in place its commitments. Thank you.
Thank you, Razia. So here's what I can say, and let me be very clear. The Commission, on behalf of the European Union, continues to operate on the basis of the commitments contained in the EU-US joint statement, including the tariff ceiling. We expect the United States to do the same. We have not received any indication that the US administration intends to deviate from those commitments. So we will be seeking further clarity from the US on how the opening of this Section 301 investigation would interact with the agreed joint statement framework. And the last thing I can say is that the Commission would respond firmly and proportionately to any breach of the joint statement commitments.
Thank you. Yes, Carl.
Cardamia for Lesico, it's a follow-up. So in the backdrop of this new development, does the Commission think that it would be a good idea for the Parliament to not vote next week on the final approval of the two pieces of legislation derived from the joint declaration?
Thanks, Carl. Look, the Commission's position in this respect hasn't changed. We believe that, as the European Union, we should continue to implement our own commitments as negotiated through the joint statement, on the clear understanding that the US upholds their commitments.
Very clear. Any other questions on this topic, or otherwise other questions to Olaf? I have questions online. Are these for Olaf? The questions I see online. If not, can you unraise your hands? Kim Mackrell, is this for Olaf, your question?
Yes, can you hear and see me?
Yeah.
Thank you. Kim Mackrell from the Wall Street Journal. Also on the same topic, I understand, Olaf, you were saying you're seeking further clarity from the US on how this would interact with the Turnberry deal. But have you received any assurances so far through any of the counterparts you work with in the US that this wouldn't result in tariffs that go beyond what was agreed to last summer? And then secondly, the part of what the US talked about yesterday and is expected to do is also a 301 investigation looking at the efforts to fight forced labor. And I'm wondering if the EU has either received any notification or any information about whether that would apply to the EU, and do you have any response on whether the EU should be looked at in terms of how it handles forced labor? Thanks.
Thank you, Kim. On your second question, if any additional Section 301 investigations are announced by the US, I will be in a position to tell you more about the European Union's views on those at that moment. And on your first question, I have nothing to add to what I previously said.
Thank you, Olaf. Other questions to Olaf? No. Okay, then we change topic. Yes.
Thank you for the floor. Paula Igor, Juric, Slovenian National Television. I would have some questions for Tomas, I guess, regarding the heated election campaign in Slovenia. In 1 week, there will be election. And has the European Commission been informed that online posts containing alleged wiretaps have recently appeared in Slovenia, and according to reports, some of this material may have been partially manipulated or even AI generated. The second question, does the Commission consider the publication of secretly recorded wiretaps to be legal or legitimate? And the third question, does the Commission see any foreign interference in the coming elections, because one of the websites publishing the recordings is reportedly operating from North Macedonia.
Yes, Tomas.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Igor. So let me first start what we said yesterday. It's important to recall elections are a national competence, and they should and will in Europe remain in the hands of our citizens. That's the goal. Okay? With that being said, you're referring now to online platforms. Yes, of course. I mean, disinformation campaigns, there is nothing new about this. We know that these have been carried out for years and years. There is nothing new. However, platforms today in Europe have a role to play to protect our democratic processes, our electoral processes, and to strengthen the resilience of our democracies. That's where the DSA kicks in. Now, I can confirm here to you that in the context of the DSA, a DSA roundtable was organized by the Slovenian authorities. Again, it's a prerogative of the national authorities to organize them. It was organized by the Slovenian authorities on the 3rd of March, to which the Commission was invited, and we attended that one. Now, I can also confirm to you, and this is another important reminder, that in the context of the Slovenian elections, the rapid response system was also activated by the signatories of the Code of conduct against disinformation. Just a quick reminder for everyone and also for you, Igor, what is this code of conduct doing? You have 44 signatories, not only online platforms. You have civil society organizations. You have fact-checkers who participate. And when they activate such a response mechanism, they decide to cooperate when such disinformation campaigns appear, to cooperate together, to work hand in hand, and to make sure that all the different services of these signatories are resilient in the context of elections. So that's what I can give you today from this podium on the Slovenian elections.
Thank you, Thomas. Other questions to Thomas? Yes?
John Pucciari, Bloomberg News. I would like to ask a few details about this rapid response system. When was it activated? And is there any specific reason it was activated?
Thank you. So it was activated earlier this month, in March. A reason why it is being activated, it has always been activated for previous elections. Again, let me slightly zoom out of this. This is again, roundtables are the prerogative of national member states to organize them. Activating the rapid response system is the prerogative of the signatories of the Code of Conduct, which is now under the DSA, to activate. Both of them have been done. Both of them have been met, and this is very good for citizens in Slovenia ahead of a vote. But this is a regular practice that is being organized.
Yes, you have a follow-up. Go ahead.
Is there any plan, or is the mechanism already in place for the Hungarian elections? And if not, why not?
I could expect that one, Jan. Not yet. So it has not yet been activated for the Hungarian elections. Again, prerogative of the signatories. We do not have, at least the Commission at this stage, does not have any indications that there is no wish to organize it, to activate it. So that's where we are today, not officially, but no indications that it will not be the case in the future.
Exactly. Thank you. I guess it's still on the same topic. You want to come back on that, and then I'll come to you, Mose.
Yeah, thank you, Paula, again. Just a follow-up. Except of these two tools, does the Commission have any other tools to help member states to fight the interference or manipulation of the elections?
Thanks, Igor. We have many tools. I listed some of them also yesterday. So, of course, the Commission has put an entire toolbox at its disposal to increase societal awareness, to improve our democratic resilience, to support member states when and if needed, and potentially when and if requested. So yes, we have it. You have the Democracy Shield, you have the Rapid Alert System from EAS, you have the Center for Democratic Resilience, you have different task forces that have been organized. So yes, we have a structure in place to make sure that, again, the votes remain in the hands of our citizens.
Thank you. Other questions to Thomas? Yes, Mose?
Thank you, Paula. Just a quick question. I would like to ask whether this type of voluntary roundtables with the national authorities have taken place, how often taken place in the past until now in different countries, and what is your experience of them? How effective has it been in order to prevent foreign election manipulation? Thank you.
You're testing my memory here, Mose. From memory, with all the elections that we had over the last 2.5 years since the DSA entered into force, only 2 countries decided not to organize roundtable, if I'm not mistaken. It was Romania and it was Poland. That's from memory. I will double check to be 100% sure. How effective are they? They are very effective. Here, what is the role of such a roundtable? You gather together, if member states, again, authorities decide to do it, they convene online platforms to sit around the table and to say, guys, elections will take place. This is how the social media landscape looks in X, Y, or Z member state. Be aware that your systems need to be resilient to be able to tackle potential disinformation in this context. Are your systems effective enough to make sure that our citizens have access to fair and transparent information? It has been proven to be extremely successful, and this is why we, of course, encourage member states to continue that good practice.
Thank you. I see several hands online. Again, just to make sure these are all for Thomas. If not, please unraise. And we are left with Roland Pape.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I hope you can hear me and see me. I have a question about SAFE. So I was wondering, there's still we haven't heard anything about the Hungarian plan, and I was wondering, is there any communication between the European Commission and Hungary regarding that one? Thank you.
Thank you, Roland. Indeed, no approval at this stage of the Hungarian SAFE plan. Work is ongoing. We're, of course, in touch with the Hungarian authorities in view of approving it in the future.
Andreas Stamm, online.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for letting me ask this question. It's regarding the Biennale in Venice. The Commission has been clear. The Russian pavilion will be...
Sorry, Andreas. Sorry for cutting your word.
Oh, here I am.
Here you are. Very good.
Sorry, I'm not capable of pushing a button correctly. Sorry for that. My question is regarding the Biennale in Venice. The Commission has been clear. If the Russian pavilion will be opened, this will have consequences. My question is, will this happen automatically? Will the support of the EU, it's around about 2 million euros, I think, definitely not be granted anymore in that case?
Thank you, Andreas. Let's start with the beginning. Important to recall always, so the Commission condemns the decision by the Fondazione Biennale to allow Russia to participate in the 2026 Biennale art exhibition. Why? Because culture in Europe should promote and safeguard democratic values. It should foster open dialogue, diversity and freedom of expressions. These values are currently, in today's Russia, not honored. This is why we condemn the decision. Now, what is at stake? The Commission supports the Fondazione Biennale. We have an ongoing project of 2 million euro that is supporting film producers extended in virtual reality. This project is ongoing, and indeed, if there is a breach of the contract, like we have with any grant agreement, the Commission will terminate or suspend the contract.
Thank you, Thomas. Adrien. Sorry. You? No? Yes. Mathieu. Mathieu Bion.
Mathieu, c'est ça, c'est pas Adrien. Sur SAFE, de nouveau. Est-ce qu'il y a du nouveau concernant les plans français et tchèques? Est-ce que l'idée, c'est qu'ils soient approuvés par la Commission en même temps? Et peut-être sur les arrangements financiers que vous négociez avec les autres pays pour lesquels les plans ont déjà été approuvés, est-ce qu'on peut s'attendre à des décisions rapides, notamment concernant les préfinancements?
Bonjour Mathieu. Alors pour les 3 plans qui restent, donc à savoir la République tchèque, la Hongrie et la France, les plans ne sont pas liés. C'est-à-dire qu'on traite ça au cas par cas avec chaque État membre et nous avançons bien entendu le plus rapidement possible parce que approuver ces plans à la fois par la Commission et le Conseil est une priorité absolue étant donné que bien entendu nous devons au vu des événements qui nous entourent renforcer la sécurité et la défense européenne. Pour ce qui est des plans qui ont déjà été approuvés par la Commission et le Conseil, au nombre de 16, ces plans, chaque État membre va désormais, avec la Commission européenne, signer un accord en vue de recevoir les fonds. On peut s'attendre à un déboursement des fonds de ces 16 États membres au mois d'avril de cette année. Donc encore un peu de patience pour ces 16-là.
Oui. Et Karl, désolé, je viens sur toi après.
Oui, Karl de Meyer, Les Échos, c'est un follow-up. Est-ce que vous pouvez nous expliquer vraiment ce qui manque pour l'approbation du plan français? Est-ce que les autorités françaises n'ont pas transmis toutes les informations dont la Commission aurait besoin? Et est-ce qu'on peut avoir un aperçu de ce qui manque pour chaque dossier hongrois, tchèque et français?
Alors, je vais essayer de t'aider un peu, Karl, tout en respectant bien entendu la sensibilité de ces différents projets de défense et plans de défense. Pour certains plans, les montants ne sont pas en lien avec ce qui avait été approuvé initialement par la Commission européenne, donc il y a un ajustement à faire. Pour d'autres plans, nous avons besoin d'informations supplémentaires afin de pouvoir approuver les plans. Laisse-moi te rassurer, parce que tu évoques notamment le plan français. Nous travaillons très très bien avec les autorités françaises. Nous sommes en étroite collaboration avec le gouvernement français et les autorités françaises sur leurs plans. Et voilà, nous n'avons pas rejeté aucun plan à ce stade. Nous avons simplement besoin d'approfondir encore un peu les informations manquantes avant de pouvoir approuver les plans.
Tout à fait. Merci. Et Angela.
Thanks for the opportunity. It's on the Biennale. I raised my hand before, so I go back to the Biennale. For just a clarification, I did not understand. Is the participation, the decision by the Biennale to let Russia participate, does it breach the contract you have with the Biennale? Thanks.
Thank you. Gets into a very grey and specific area. So, the decision, the general decision, is being strongly condemned by the Commission. That's point number one. Point number two was what is at stake. You have currently a grant, an ongoing project of €2 million with the Fondazione Biennale. Every time you have a grant agreement, the beneficiaries have to comply with different provisions laid out in the individual grant agreement. What are these provisions? You have ethical standards that need to be respected, EU values, EU rules, etc. So what could potentially happen is that we look at this grant agreement, we check if everything is met. If there is a breach, the Commission suspends or terminates the contract.
Yes, Angela?
Are you doing this check now, before the exposition, or will you do it later, after the exposition has happened? And when would you say if there is a violation of the contract or not? Thanks.
So, of course, for this we have a legal service. I will not preempt what they will do. I mean, we're not in an analyzing mode or examination mode currently. We're in a condemnation mode of a decision that is not in line with the values that I have laid out in my previous statement. So we condemn, we engage, we strongly condemn the decision, and then on potential next steps, that would be for a later stage. For now, we condemn.
Tommaso Garavoti.
Oui, bonjour, de l'agence de presse. C'est un follow-up, question d'Angela. Et c'est seulement parce que j'ai lu la liste des pays participants à la Biennale et il y a des autres pays qui ne sont pas des modèles de démocratie. Il y a le Cameroun, la Guinée équatoriale et des autres pays qui ne sont pas démocratiques et qui ne respectent pas les valeurs fondamentales de l'UE. Je me demande pourquoi la Commission n'a pas protesté pour la participation de ces pays. Merci.
Je n'ai pas compris je ne fais pas le sourd, je ne joue pas au sourd, je n'ai vraiment pas compris le début de ta question, Tommaso. Pourquoi on condamne ici la décision par rapport à la Russie? Le contexte géopolitique me paraît assez évident. On avait des mesures en place depuis 4 ans maintenant. Donc voilà la raison pourquoi on condamne fermement la décision vis-à-vis de la Russie.
D'autres questions pour Thomas? Federica Bianchi.
Yes, thank you for taking my question. It's still on the Biennale, but there is a big debate in Italy about the Biennale decision by the European Commission. I mean, this morning was like top news everywhere. And one of the points raised, which are like shared with a wider and broader population, and that's why I'm mentioning it, is that the European Commission condemns the Biennale for hosting Russia, but then at the same time it's still buying gas from Russia, it's still buying wood from Russia and other materials. And so the European Commission is accused of being hypocritical of financing Russia, while at the same time financing Ukraine, while at the same time saying that Russia cannot be part of the Biennale because it doesn't respect the European values. So I wanted you to be a little more explicit on this, and what would you respond to a wide amount of public opinion in Italy? Thank you.
Thank you, Federica. And let us be very, very clear. You mentioned that Europe is still buying fossil fuels from Russia. It's true, and we're on the way out, as you know, very clearly, phasing out. We did it in a staggered, progressive way, also to meet the interests of our member states in terms of energy security. But it's been very, very clear what is our stance with regard to Russia, and the fact that the imports of fossil fuels from Russia have drastically decreased from 45% in 2022 to around 13% last year. So this gives you a very clear indication. We wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for the stance that Russia is having with regard to Ukraine. So I hope this helps you explain also to the public opinion that we are being coherent, consistent, and where we're most dependent on Russia, we're actually drastically reducing towards eliminating any further imports. Other questions to Thomas? No. Other topics? Irini.
Hi, Paula. Irini Kostaki for Cyprus News Agency. One is for you, one is for Marcos. Let's start with the question for you. It's for yesterday's call of President von der Leyen with President Christodoulides. I hope now you have the info on the call. Was it just about the foot and mouth disease outbreak, and what did you discuss about that? Is it about more help at the EU vet scheme, other measures? Is it funding? And what else was mentioned in the call? Thank you.
Thank you, Irini. Well, as you've seen, and President von der Leyen had the opportunity to express also in public the solidarity with Cyprus in the context of the recent strikes of the UK bases in Cyprus. So obviously the Middle East is one of the topics of discussion between the two presidents. And then you mentioned it also, of course, foot and mouth disease, something that there are developments with regard to this in Cyprus, and obviously this was also something which was raised between the two presidents. And now the question to Marcos.
It seems that the European Commission, Marcos, has officially informed the Republic of Cyprus that it has terminated the infringement procedure on the citizenship program to foreign investors through the CIP. This was according to a statement from our legal service of the Republic, but we did not have anything from Brussels. Do you have anything for us today? Thank you.
Thank you, Irene. Yes, let me begin from the start. The position of the Commission on investor citizenship schemes has been very clear from the outset. Such schemes are breaching EU law. European citizenship is not for sale. So in October 2020, Cyprus suspended its investor citizenship schemes, but without repealing the law. And this is why we started an infringement procedure. Now, Cyprus, in the meantime, has completed the handling of the remaining pending applications in 2021, bringing the scheme to an effective end, and Cyprus repealed the legal basis of its scheme with effect from 12 December 2025. And in doing so, Cyprus indeed addressed the concerns raised by the Commission. The Commission has therefore decided to close the case on 11 March 2026.
Thank you for that clarification. Still to Marcus? Yes, please.
Yes, thank you. My question would be regarding rule of law in Hungary, specifically the new government decree and draft legislation that has been passed in Parliament pretty quickly that allows Hungarian authorities to keep the cash seized from the Ukrainian transporter. A lot of legal experts seem worried that this is a legislation that seems to create or aims to create a legal basis for something that has already happened, so like in retrospect, plus Hungarian government ministers seem to have made a connection between this seizure and the pipeline, and I was wondering if the Commission considers this to be in keeping with EU norms on rule of law. Thank you. Sorry, DW News, forgot to mention.
Yes. Marcos.
Thanks for the question. We do continue to look at the situation closely to understand the facts and to what extent there may be an impact on EU law.
Other questions to Marcos? No? I see one hand up. Is this for Marcos? No. Okay, we change topic. Yes?
Thank you, El Zaragaev, Azerbaijan Television. My question is for Anita, I guess. Some foreign citizens, including EU nationals, are leaving Iran via Azerbaijan, which has created a safe zone, safe corridor for that purposes. So are you in constant, intensive contact with Baku? And how, in general, do you coordinate the evacuation process, evacuation efforts with Azerbaijan? Thank you.
So it's actually for Anwar, but it is and the Foreign Affairs.
Yes, indeed. Good morning. Thank you for the question. The land border between Iran and Azerbaijan is at present indeed one of the possible routes to leave Iran. Foreign nationals wishing to enter Azerbaijan should contact their embassies in Baku in advance in order to receive a special authorization from the government of Azerbaijan to cross the border. Our EU delegation in Baku and member states' embassies are in contact with national authorities to facilitate the border crossing of EU citizens from Iran to Azerbaijan. We do express our sincere appreciation for the assistance that Azerbaijan has provided to European citizens to facilitate their safe repatriation from Iran. And let me also use this opportunity to thank the Canadian government for its continued support in addressing the ongoing consular crisis. Their consular team presence at the border is actively providing assistance, including to EU citizens.
Thank you. Anwar, yes?
Thank you. Follow-up. Kam Mustafaeva, Report News Agency, Azerbaijan. I want to ask about some embassies also cross the border from Iran to, EU country embassies to Azerbaijan, and announce that they will continue to function in Baku. Do you have any idea how long it might be before it will be safe to return back to Iran, or if it's take longer, you stop doing that? Just some ideas. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm afraid there are different dimensions to your question that would not allow me to answer it because of first the speculative nature, but also the angle that is for member states. And I will stick to what I have delivered here in terms of the EU angle and the EU delegation activities on the ground.
Yeah, because part of it is indeed, as you imagine, really for the member states, for the countries concerned to best address and best reply. Ghazia.
Thank you. The Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman has accused the European Union of complicity in the US-Israeli attacks. The individual said the European Union's indifference and acquiescence in the face of US and Israeli aggression, brutalities and atrocities amounts to nothing less than complicity. Can I get a reaction to that? And I also wondered, is a question about Senegal for Anwar? Yeah, okay. Sorry. Fast in brain. the Senegal Parliament has doubled the penalty for same-sex relations. They passed legislation, the Parliament passed legislation on Wednesday, and I just wondered if the EU had a reaction to that. Thank you.
Thank you. On this second angle, we will communicate in due time, but what I can say from this podium that we take note in terms of the adoption of this law. Let me here recall what is our policy and general policy in terms of human rights and democratization throughout the world. We have this policy which is based on international human rights law, including the international conventions to which Senegal is also a party. We reiterate our deep concern about the alarming rates of violence, discrimination, hate speech, and stigmatization against LGBTI people around the world, and we reiterate our support for the universal decriminalization of consensual same-sex relations. And we obviously continue to monitor the situation in Senegal very closely. And on your first point, no comment on comments.
Just that it comes from a member of government which has been oppressing, which has been torturing their own citizens. Maybe it should be recalled in this context. Other foreign affairs questions? Yes, please.
Hello, it's Tamtan Najgabia from Public AGX. The question is about Georgia and Olevi port terminal, which is now removed from the list of possible targets in the 20th package of sanctions on Russia. And the reason is that Georgian government and Azerbaijani company Sokar, which is a port operator, have undertaken positive obligations. Has Georgian Dream confirmed that Georgia will not re-export Russian oil, like in these words? Or can you now possibly say that Georgia was helping Russia to circumvent sanctions, and for how long that continued? Thank you.
Thank you. This question will not be for Anwar, so we'll get back to you. No, it's not always obvious. We'll get back to you. Other questions to Anwar? Odile.
Oui, merci. Merci, Paula. Je pense que ma question est à la fois pour Anwar et peut-être Eva aussi. Selon Al Jazeera, avec 570 tués, 1444 blessés, 800 000 personnes déplacées du jour au lendemain, la situation au Liban est absolument catastrophique. Pouvez-vous, d'une part, faire le point sur le soutien humanitaire de l'Union européenne au Liban, et d'autre part, j'aimerais savoir si un appel à la retenue a été lancé par les autorités européennes à destination d'Israël, mais aussi du Hezbollah par peut-être l'intermédiaire du gouvernement du président Aoun au Liban. Merci.
Merci Odile. Je commencerai par rappeler plusieurs points qui sont importants à garder en tête quand il s'agit de notre position sur la situation au Liban. Qui est une guerre que d'ailleurs le Liban et que les Libanais n'ont pas choisie et dont ils n'ont absolument pas besoin. La présidente a elle-même exprimé sa solidarité avec le Liban et son peuple en rappelant que l'Union européenne fournit une aide humanitaire d'un montant de 100 millions d'euros. Pas plus tard que le 10 mars dernier, nous avons livré plus de 40 tonnes de fournitures et nous prévoyons d'organiser d'autres vols humanitaires. Maintenant, quand il s'agit de la situation sur le terrain, la haute représentante a été très claire les jours derniers, dans le sens que le Liban risque de devenir un autre front dans la guerre avec l'Iran. La décision du Hezbollah d'attaquer Israël pour soutenir l'Iran met en danger toute la région et ajoute encore une fois une dimension meurtrière à la situation sur le terrain. Le Hezbollah doit désarmer et cesser toutes ses actions contre Israël. Dans le même temps, la riposte d'Israël a été, comme la haute représentante l'a dit dans sa déclaration assez brutale. Ces représailles provoquent des déplacements massifs de population et déstabilisent davantage une situation encore fragile. En termes de diplomatie et d'efforts sur le terrain, le retour au cessez-le-feu ainsi que les dialogues diplomatiques offrent la meilleure chance d'éviter que le Liban ne sombre dans le chaos. Et nous rappelons encore une fois en des termes très clairs notre soutien plein et total à la FINUL dans l'exécution de son mandat, en rappelant que la sécurité des soldats de la paix des Nations Unies doit être garantie tout en empêchant de nouvelles pertes humaines, de nouveaux déplacements qui risqueraient de créer une nouvelle escalade régionale. Voilà quand il s'agit de notre situation et notre position. Si ma collègue Eva a d'autres points à rappeler, elle est la bienvenue sur le podium.
Merci Anouar, tu l'as dit et tu as aussi fait référence effectivement à ce que la présidente von der Leyen a dit là-dessus. Et je rappelle ici qu'en fait, hier, la présidente a eu un appel avec le président Joseph Aoun, justement, pour lui exprimer son soutien, sa solidarité avec le peuple du Liban, pour confirmer l'aide humanitaire et pour souhaiter aussi la bienvenue à son appel pour mettre fin à toutes les hostilités et toutes les activités militaires du Hezbollah. Other questions on foreign affairs? David.
Oui, c'est un follow-up. David Carretta, Radio Radicale, c'est un follow-up à cette question sur le Liban. Je voulais vous demander deux choses. Est-ce que votre activité, en termes que présidente de la Commission et autres représentantes, prévoit aussi des contacts avec Israël, des pressions envers Israël, parce que, comme l'a dit Anouar, la riposte d'Israël a été particulièrement dure. Et donc, qu'est-ce que vous pouvez faire pour pousser Israël à plus de retenue envers surtout la population civile et les risques pour l'État souverain libanais? Deuxièmement, le Liban a demandé des négociations directes à Israël qui ont été refusées. Est-ce que vous soutenez cette demande? Merci.
Merci David. Je commenterai sur le premier point. Paola peut compléter si cela est pertinent. S'agissant des contacts, nous sommes en contact étroit avec tous nos partenaires dans la région. Quand je dis non, nous, je parle de la haute représentante ainsi que des leaders, afin de contribuer à la désescalade sur le terrain. Et nous réaffirmons encore une fois notre détermination sans faille en tant qu'Union européenne et de nos États membres à préserver la sécurité et la stabilité régionale. Donc quand il s'agit de ta question, bien évidemment que les canaux sont ouverts et que les messages sont passés.
Et encore récemment, je cherchais justement les détails, mais encore récemment, il y a eu un appel entre la présidente von der Leyen et le président Herzog. D'autres questions pour Anouar? Non. Alors, on peut revenir à la question de la Géorgie et les sanctions. Ce sera pour Shivon. If you don't mind just formulating the question, just for the sake of the registration, of the recording, I'm sorry, of the question, to have it together.
So the European Union has removed the Ulevi oil terminal, which is located in Georgia, from the list of possible targets of 20's target of sanctions in the 20th package of sanctions on Russia, and the reason is that Georgian government and the Azerbaijani company SOCAR have undertaken the positive obligations, and SOCAR is a port operator in the terminal. And the question is, has Georgian Dream confirmed that Georgia will not re-export Russian oil? And also, can you now publicly say that Georgia was helping Russia circumvent sanctions, and for how long did that continue? Thank you.
Thanks for the question. So, indeed, in the context of the 20th sanctions package, we had considered adding the Georgian port of Kalevi to the list because of the interactions with shadow fleet vessels. and concerns that it could be used for re-exports of Russian oil, in breach of course, the EU sanctions. And so the EU sanctions envoy, David O'Sullivan, has received a number of commitments from Georgian authorities that activities of concern for us will cease. And the Georgian foreign minister has also committed that no shadow fleet tanker will be permitted to call at its ports from now on. And additional commitments were also received from SOCAR. You mentioned SOCAR, the state-owned oil company of Azerbaijan that operates the port. And of course, we will continue to monitor the adherence to these commitments closely, and we will not shy away from taking action against any actors that we see actively undermining the impact of our sanctions. So Georgian authorities have also confirmed that they would cease re-exports, and we're closely monitoring that this is in fact the case.
So good news indeed that we can confirm. Other questions to Siobhan? Nope. Thank you, Siobhan. Then I have one question from Antonio online. Antonio Cis.
And see me, I have a question for Anna Kaiser about the oil coordination and gas coordination group meetings this morning. I was wondering if you could provide us any readout or conclusions regarding those meetings. Thank you.
Antonio, indeed, there were 2 meetings already this morning.
Yes, 2 meetings, oil coordination group and gas coordination group, and I can share the following from both of these meetings. Oil coordination group started the string of meetings and concluded no immediate security of supply concerns emerged from these discussions. However, we will keep a very close eye monitoring the situation and the impact on the European Union in view of potential prolonged disruption. And as we said yesterday as well, we stand ready to take all necessary measures in coordination with the International Energy Agency members. This morning, the member states discussed the International Energy Agency's proposal to release oil stocks. And our member states understand this to be a collective, voluntary action based on their national circumstances. And EU member states are to notify the International Energy Agency on their intention on these releases today by 6 p.m. And the next oil coordination group is meeting on the 19th of March, and they will take stock of the IEA proposal as well as prepare for the next IEA meeting taking place on the 25th and 26th of March. As regards the gas coordination group, again, no immediate security of supply concern. There is more concern over the rising gas prices. The internal work in the Commission continues with view of the European summit, and here I would also refer to the President's speech yesterday in the Parliament, that this was also discussed in the meeting. And then, of course, why no security of supply concern for short term? We have our diversification policy in place. The underground storage levels are at around 30% at the moment. There is still time. It's early in the injection season, so there is no concerns there. Flexibilities are included in the storage regulation, as you know, at the request of the member states. And the next meeting of the gas coordination group is taking place next week, and we will confirm you the exact timing when I get the details. So these are the readouts from these 2 meetings this morning.
Thank you, Anna Kaiser, for these fresh elements, the takeaways from this morning's meetings on energy. I have Rainer Lütkehuus online. Rainer, are you there? No.
Now?
Yes.
Okay. My question is also addressed to Anna Kaiser. It's in the chat. Has Italy notified the European Commission that it intends to change its electricity market design. Italy will subsidize the CO2 costs of gas-fired power plants. Has the Commission been notified, and when will it evaluate what Italy intends to do?
Good, that is actually for Ricardo. Now, last time we were asked, we were looking into the legislation, but let's see if there are any further elements there. I will just want to make sure that there are no more questions for Anna Kaiser. There is one, so Rainer, we'll get back to you. Yes, please.
Yes, thank you, Ferencka, for the W News. Regarding the Druzhba pipeline and the debate between Hungary and Ukraine on this topic, Hungary has said it has sent a fact-finding mission to Ukraine. The Ukrainian side says they have not received any official notification and they consider this group as purely tourists. So I wanted to ask, first, has the Commission been notified about any fact-finding mission from the Hungarian side to Ukraine? And does it consider this a fact-finding mission that, will it consider the results of this mission in any way relevant to solving this conflict? Thank you.
We are in intense discussions and contact with Ukraine on this issue, as has been the case for a couple of weeks already, as well as with the member states that are most concerned. And I can update you that we have proposed a mission to inspect the pipeline to Ukraine.
And regarding the Hungarian delegation, any comment?
I do not have details of the Hungarian delegation.
It's best to ask directly the Hungarian counterparts. Any other questions to Anna Kaiser, Mathieu?
Oui, c'est pour en savoir un petit peu plus sur cette mission. Vous l'avez proposée aux autorités ukrainiennes. Est-ce qu'elles l'ont acceptée? Qui composerait donc cette mission? Et est-ce que le plan A de la Commission pour débloquer le prêt à l'Ukraine reste justement une solution sur cette affaire de l'oléoduc Druzhba, ou est-ce qu'il y a encore des options que vous n'avez jamais véritablement détaillées pour contourner le veto hongrois?
En ce qui concerne le fact-finding mission, je passe encore le détail. C'est juste que nous avons proposé une mission à l'Ukraine et nous attendons de réponses et nous restons en contact avec les Ukrainiens, avec notre État membre, mais je passe encore le détail.
Oui, donc ça fait partie des contacts intenses qu'on garde avec les autorités ukrainiennes. Pour ce qui concerne le prêt, c'est vrai, on n'a pas encore élaboré ici sur les différentes options et les différents instruments. Et aujourd'hui, on va toujours pas élaborer là-dessus, mais on est bien conscient du besoin d'avoir ce prêt accordé, octroyé, comme c'était l'accord qui a été pris au niveau du Conseil européen de décembre. D'autres questions pour Anna Kaiser? Yes.
Hello. So I had a question on the statement from the Agriculture Commissioner, Christoph Hansen, last week, who said that the debate on crop-based biofuels creating competition with food production belonged to the past. And I was quite surprised by this quite positive statement on biofuels, so I wanted to know if it reflects the view of other DGs from the Commission, like Klima or NR. Thank you.
I do not have any further interpretation to make to what Commissioner Hansen had said here. And he's, of course, when he's speaking, he's representing the Commission, the College of the Commission. So I do not have any comment to make to what he said on this topic.
We'll see the context in which this was set, and if need be, get back to you with any more elements. Now, if no further questions to Anna Kaiser, I'd then ask Ricardo to address the question from Rainer Lütkehuus regarding the Italian energy decree and what's the latest we have on that.
Good afternoon, Rainer. The situation is that, well, as you know, the Commission is well aware of the law in question. As always, with state aid measures, it is up to a member state to notify a specific measure to, well, in advantage of a company or a sector. And if they decide to do so, then it's the member states that have to ensure that said measures are in line with EU law. Regarding this concrete measure, well, we are in regular dialogue with all member states, including Italy, and since it was only adopted recently, at this stage the Italian authorities have not yet formally raised the matter with the Commission services.
Okay, so we can confirm that this has not been formally brought up. Other questions to Ricardo? Nope. And we move then topics. Jorge.
Yes, hi, Paula. Two questions. The first one on the G7 call yesterday that the President took part. After the call, she said that this is not the time to relax sanctions on Russia. Do you feel confident that the United States will abide by this commitment, given that the United States has already relaxed sanctions on Russia last week for the oil stranded at sea? And second, related also to Ukraine, is the Commission's view that Ukraine has enough financing to last until early May rather than early April, as it was the case before? Thank you.
Jorge, obviously we cannot speak for the United States. As far as the EU is concerned, as far as we are concerned, the President was extremely clear yesterday, and Nakai's already said it yesterday, reconsidering our decision, which is, by the way, not a Commission decision, is a Member States' European Council decision, to completely phase out the imports of fossil fuels from Russia. Going back on this would be a total strategic blunder, and that's what needs to be recalled. We stay the course. There are challenges in terms of energy prices now, caused by all the situation in the Middle East. This should not lead us to rethink only in short term, but really to stick to what has been decided based on very, very clear evidence that in the end we end up paying high costs for this dependence on Russia. You may not see it immediately. It may be attractive to import gas at lower prices, but in the longer term, we pay highly, and we've been paying highly for this dependence on Russia fossil fuels. On the issue of the timing, so the information that we had is indeed that Ukraine needs by April the loan, and that's why it is urgent, that's why it is important to get this loan. We have no new information regarding flexibilities that could be there. It's not excluded, but the information we have is that indeed this is urgent for Ukraine to be able to keep its financial commitments. Other questions? I have from Maria, and this will be our final question for the day. Maria Psara.
Hello, thanks, Paula, for giving me the floor. Maria Psara with the newspaper Greece. I want to take you to aftermath of OPEC scandal again for Greece. Today was supposed to be the day that the Commission would have decided whether ADE, the Greece's revenue authority, will be accredited to manage EU funds for the agricultural policy in Greece. I'm wondering if Balázs has any news on this, first of all.
Yeah, thanks, Maria. So to recall, this is a procedure that has been going on essentially since September 2024, which is when the competent Greek authorities put on hold or put on probation the accreditation of the Greek paying agency in the field of agriculture, which is OPEC, as you know very well. Since then, there have been a lot of exchanges between us and the Greek authorities, very constructive exchanges, by the way, and a commitment was made to implement an action plan, which was put together jointly by the Greek side, and the Commission's observations were also taken into account. The respective deadline to, let's say, submit an implementation report on the basis of this action plan was somewhat extended, and indeed the deadline will expire today. So we are looking to receive this implementation report from the Greek authorities. We have not received it yet. Now, to recall who can restore the accreditation of OPEC, it is only the competent Greek authority, and of course we also understand that OPEC was transferred to the Independent Public Revenue Authority as of the 1st of January. So for us to be able to share our assessment of the implementation report, first we have to receive it, then we will look at it in a very rapid manner. And I can already also confirm that an audit mission is planned for June 2026 for Greece to allow our editors to review the situation on the ground.
Thank you, Balázs. Good. And with this, we come to an end of our midday briefing. Thank you all very much. Bon appétit and see you tomorrow.
Yes,